Hello, hello, friends. Good morning and happy Saturday. It is time for the Spring Fling event in the Sparkle Room with Kathy and Chris. Today's event is taking place all day long, and you'll find lots of creatives going live and demonstrating and showcasing the products by Reba Rose Creations, which you will want to check out for sure. She has an amazing array of um, papers and graphic designs and printables that you can grab onto and use. I'm going to show you just some of the ones that I grabbed one set and it's absolutely gorgeous. So I'll show you that here in a second. But we are really showcasing Reba Rose and her creations. Today, her business name is Reba Rose Creations. You can go to her site, rebarosecreations.com. There is a discount code that she gave everybody, which is super generous. So you'll find that. Good morning, Kimberly. Hello, hello. Thanks for saying hi. You guys, I am using StreamYard to broadcast. So that really helps because I can highlight any comments and I can I'm able to broadcast for both YouTube and Facebook at the same time, which is super fun because friends and followers here at the Comfy Nest with Grace can join wherever they're most comfortable. So good morning, good morning. Hi, Holly. How are you? Thanks for the morning greetings. Yes, so today, hey, Lindy, how are you? Today is the Spring Fling event. Like I said, if you need the link to the group, the whole event is taking place in a Facebook group today. And the link to the group is in the description of this video, as is the discount code that Reba Rose Creations has given us. So if you hang on all day, you'll get to see a beautiful showcase, I'm sure, of all of her beautiful things that she has created for us to create with. So good morning, Rusty. Hello, hello, Mary. Thanks for being here, you guys. So I'm going to get the screen over on my table, and I want to show you what we're creating today. Get a little sneak peek of the set that I'm working with today, her fairies that I'm working with. But what I'm going to be creating a book. Okay. These are a couple of the art journals that I have used in the past, created from hard-covered books. This looks crooked to me. Let's straighten you out. These are from hard-covered books, so you can see. I may have even kept, yeah, so here's like the back of this book. You can see it was a children's book, Magic Treehouse. I got it for free in the bargain basket at a thrift store when I was on vacation one time. I was like, oh, good, a free book. And I hadn't brought a book to create with while I was on vacation. So I grabbed this book from their bargain bin. They were giving it away for free. And so since then, I've just been creating in this book. I've used it as an art journal since, when did I get it? In 2021 is when I started creating this. And these two spreads actually I did while on vacation with my sisters on a girls' trip. My sister brought along a lot of craft supplies and art supplies so that we could create. So it says Marco Island, Florida there, because that's where we were at the time. So I love to use old books in this way. It's a great way to have an art journal without having to buy a paper pad, especially if your funds are limited. It's just a really fun way. Like here you can see I did a little texturizing with a stencil and some texture medium. It's a really fun way to use your supplies and get to know your supplies. Just express yourself, have a little downtime, a little me time. Sometimes I use napkins. These are both stickers. I use chalk couture in here, or some sort of stenciling if you want to. Oh, this was a work of my son's that I didn't want to throw out. This actually is a picture that was in the book. That picture of those two children is from the book Magic Treehouse series, this particular book, and I just amped it up. Like I put little party hats on them. They're having a little tea, and I made it like a little party that they were at. So you can work with the images in a book. If it's a children's book, you can use your own images. Sometimes I don't even put any focal points. I'm just practicing and playing with my supplies. So that was a children's book. This one, a Reader's Digest book. I'll just do a quick flip through. So this is tissue paper that I used mainly here. And I love when I'm able to let the words of the story come through your design. It's just a really fun way to create. If you listen, I've been creating for a long time. Let me just get my face back here on the screen for a second. I've been creating for a long time, and I found that I just ran out of room for surfaces. I don't have any more room for any more boards or canvases or framed artwork. I ran out of room because I've been creating for a long time. I was stenciling a lot. And then I started playing with mixed media a lot on surfaces, and I decided to move into books so that I would have a place to showcase my art. And it's just less expensive. It takes up less room. And they're smaller, right? You can choose the size of the book and it can be a smaller place to work. So anyway, we are going to be creating a new book for me for art journaling. Good morning, everybody. Oh, Lisa's here from sunny Cancun, Mexico. Lucky lady. Good for you. Thanks, Rose. She says, I love this art journal. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm going to show you how to create an art journal out of any old book that you got. Any old book. You just grab a book off your shelf that has just been sitting there without a purpose, or you can go to the thrift store and grab a really inexpensive one. Don't put too much thought into it. Don't get too worked up about the kind of binding that can you'll listen to other artists. They are very particular about the kind of binding that they choose when they create an art journal out of a book. This one is a sewn binding and this one is a glued binding, and they're both holding up pretty darn well. They're doing just fine. So don't overthink it, girls. Just get some books and get creative. Lindy says she loves to use books for art journals too. I know, it's so fun, right? It's so fun. It's inspiring. It's empowering. It's awesome. But let's look at hold on. Let me get this screen again. Just give me a second here. This is one of the printables from Reba Rose Creations. And what I did, let's see if I have a full, I didn't. This is the design. And then what I did was I took her designs, this particular design pack is, I think, 10 images of fairies. And they're all gorgeous. I'm going to show you some of them here in a minute. But I took that particular design and on my printer, I printed 2 on one sheet. So I got basically would that be like a 5x8 or 6x8, basically, something like that. And you can take, if you know how to use your printer, you can take your printer and print them out in different sizes once you've purchased the printables. So I love printables for creating because you get to use them over and over again. You generally get a variety of choices in a printable. Like, for example, oh my gosh, you guys, as I'm scrolling through these or showing you some of these, you can let me know, do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite? Just take a look at how beautiful these are. And there actually looks to be book page behind her, some sort of book page or letter or something, which I think is just beautiful in this design. Look at the gowns. I mean, look at the dresses these fairies have on. Just amazing. These designs are gorgeous. So what I did is I took them and I printed 2 on one sheet. So that's the design. And then I printed 2 on one sheet. You can get real creative when you start printing your own at home. I printed this on decorative paper so that I could use this in a junk journal if I wanted to. I can fold it in half. And then this can become pages of a junk journal that I might create someday. I was playing around with the images and printing them on different papers. Now that's just on regular white cardstock. But the imagery is just so enchanting. Enchanting is the word I would use. Look at this one. I love the purple. If you have a favorite one that I'm showing you, shout it out in the comments. We would love to know. I have become a fan of purple. I had never been, but I'm starting to really love purple. Look at her hair. Look at the detail in her hair. I mean, come on. Reba Rose Creations, you got to check her out. Now, this one I clearly loved because I printed this one out a bunch of times. Like you can see here, I chose 4 on one page, so I got them even smaller. 2 on one page. So my printer allows me to make these choices. Oh my goodness. Look at these, you guys. Ruth is saying, I love them all. Where are they from? I'll tell you one more time, or I'll keep telling you throughout because I know people come into the live, intermittently when you guys can jump on. So again, this is from RebaRoseCreations.com. RebaRoseCreations.com. She is the designer we are showcasing all day today in the Spring Fling event happening in the Sparkle Room with Kathy and Chris. All the links are in the description of this video. Now, this one, I have to apologize to Reba Rose Creations. Please know that I'm sorry. It happens sometimes. You get a printout goofed up. This printout got goofed up. So this is not a good representation of her work, but it gives you a good idea. Hold on. Let me get you back to the big screen here with this. Okay. One of the 10 graphics that you get is this, I would call it I don't know, they're almost like ATC card size. But you get this, there are 9 of them on one sheet. So I printed it off because I thought it was a really good way of showing you all the different color variations that she's put in this one set. Oh, let me get that comment off of the screen. But what happened was my printer cut off the bottom and the top. So this is not a full representation of the bottom of that. My printer messed up, and you can really see it on the top because this poor girl's got her head got cut off. This is this same design right here. And the poor gorgeous girl, her head got cut off. I'm sorry. I did not mean it. It wasn't intentional, but you get the point. You get this whole page with 9 illustrations on one page, and then you get each one of these as a page. And then with my printer, I printed 2 on one page so that I would have more to work with. Anyway, they're gorgeous, you guys. Reba Rose Creations, check them out. There is a discount code in the description of this video, and I'm sure every creative today will be sharing that. So if you want to go and shop her site, this is just one, you guys. Actually, every single creative is part of this event today. Every single one of us in the comments when we were shared her website. This is the artist we're showcasing today. Every single one of us said, I can't pick. There's so many to pick from. She has such a huge variety. They're all beautiful. It's really hard to choose. You can buy things that are already printed, or you can buy the digital downloads so you can print them yourself. Go check her out. It's amazing. Let's get to the book though. We got some work to do. So here is the book that I chose. This is the book that I chose. We're going to make this into an art journal. I love that it's a prayer journal. This is an actual book, Flannery O'Connor, obviously. Shirley, just play with it. You maybe go to go to YouTube. If you have like a Hewlett Packard, I don't know what kind of printer you have. If you have a Dell, if you have whatever printer you have, go to YouTube, go to their site and watch their instructional videos. I'm sure they have instructional videos to help you figure that out. Not every printer has all of the options, but learn about your printer. It can be a really, really powerful tool. For example, too, when I bought my printer, I made sure to buy a borderless printer so that I don't get that white edge around the edging. It goes all the way to the edge of the paper when I print. Not every printer has that option, but learn about your printer. It can be a really powerful tool to have as a creative. Okay. Shirley says I have an HP. Mine is an HP as well. Mine is too. Hey, designs by Dina. And there's Beth from Rekindled Blessing. Look at all our creative sisters are here this morning. Good morning. Hello, hello, everybody. There's Teresa. Good morning, Teresa. Okay, this is the book I chose. When I am shopping for books to make into art journals or junk journals, I do, when I'm at the thrift store shopping books, or when I'm at yard sales, I peek underneath the cover. I always peek. If it's a hardcover book, which is what we want for this, and it has a paper cover, I always peek because I want to see what's underneath. Sometimes like really older books have a lot of embossed images or words on them, but I really like plain. I really like plain because it gives you lots of room to work without any interference from embossed images. This one does have this on the edge, but we're going to contend with that, and we're just going to get started with creating this. Now, the image that I've chose for the cover is her. I just think it's so dreamy, this image. I love her flowers in her hair. I love it. Love the little butterfly. Her dress color is like a really soft, beautiful. It goes between soft, beautiful blues and darker blues and grays. And I just love this so much. So this is the one that I picked. And by printing 2 on one sheet, it's just perfect size to go on the cover of my book. Now, I want to put it on fabric first. So I'm going to put this aside. I grabbed a piece of fabric. It's messed up, right? It's got this big crease. It's okay. We're going to make this work. I think this is going to work for the piece of fabric that I'm going to put on the cover. The only thing is see how these edges are all ratty? I absolutely love that. Distress and rattiness. This is not ratty, and I want it to be. So I'm going to do a little work on that. And we are going to put that image on this piece of fabric, and then that is going to go on my book. I don't know. I may have to do a new piece. I grabbed 2 pieces. I think what this is, let's see. I grabbed 2 pieces just in case I had a mess up. See, this one's too big. I would have to cut it down. Or actually, let's just do it with this one. Let's cut this down. I want it to be just smaller. Like, I don't know. I don't measure anything. Just smaller. I eyeball it. 1/4 inch, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, whatever you want. I just want it to be just smaller than the book cover. So I'm going to snip this. Most fabrics will let you do this. I'm going to snip this and I'm going to tear, and that will give me that'll give me that nice ratty edge that I love. And then let's go this way. And again, flatten it out. It's going to get glued down eventually, but I like layers. I think layers, lots of layers of things, papers, textiles, fabrics, embellishments. I think it makes for a really pretty anything, any project that you want to do, particularly the cover of a book. Okay, that I love. This is not as ready as the rest, so I'm going to pull a few strings out of here if I can, if it'll let me. It's a really tight woven canvas piece of fabric, so it's if you have trouble, what I would say is get like something sharp, like a tweezer or one of your little knife blades. Where are my tweezers? You hear me digging? Can't. Oh, here they are. So like these have sharp little pointy edges. So kind of pick at this until you can get to those strings. Grab some strings and just pull them out, and you'll get that ratty edge that you love. If you love that ratty edge, who loves a ratty edge? Who like me loves a ratty edge? Okay, perfect. So that's going here. It's sized correctly for the book, but now I got to get her on here, and I don't want square edges. I'm not a big fan of square edges. So we are going to tear this, and again, I want her in the center so I can start tearing. I might lose my butterfly, which is unfortunate. Maybe I could not lose the butterfly. I'm just going to tear this because, again, I like the torn edges. You could use a ruler if you wanted to. I'm not going to. I'm just going to roll my fingers down until I'm trying to stay as close to that line as possible. That's in the middle. I need torn edges on every side, so I'm going to tear above her head. You guys can handle this. You can do this, I promise you. Hey, if I could do it, you can do it. Now, I might have to make her even a little smaller. If she's in the center, I'm going to have to lose more of this side. I think I'm going to have to like creep into my poor little butterfly there. If you're here, say hello, please. If you're here live, we love to hear from you. We love to know where you're coming in from. If you are new to the Comfy Nest with Grace, please let us know. I know that the other crafty chicks who hang out with me regularly are always eager to welcome new creative ladies to share our time together. If you don't know me, I love to junk journal. I love mixed media. I love to work in books, creating art in books. It just makes me happy. I love all paper, all things paper. Okay, that's perfect. Now I got to get this edge here. And so let's just try right here. I'm not a measurer. I just eyeball it. I'm a lazy girl crafter, so I like to make things easy. I don't like fractions or math, so I don't want to use a ruler if I can help it. I just try to eyeball and make it work. Now, I want this to be kind of distressed and grunged up and imperfect. I really like things. We use the word wonky a lot, but I really like things to be not perfect. So it takes the pressure off. Precision stresses me out, and the whole point of my creative time is to relax me and to enjoy it. So I just try not to be too precise, and the distressed way of creating really lends itself to creating and having relaxed time and enjoying it. Okay, we just have to glue this down to this. So I grabbed a brush. I'm actually going to grab a different brush. I'm going to use this brush. Now, I debated what to use for this. I have several textile glues, meaning fabric glues. This is Mod Podge fabric. It is like a gel, you guys. It's not liquid at all. It is a gel. I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood. I'm going to try to use hard coat Mod Podge to get this down. What I like about the hard coat Mod Podge is it's much thinner. I have a whole bunch of it, so there's plenty to go around. And I want it to be both a top coat and a glue. My Pent Art that I sell on my site, the Pent Art product, is a varnish and a glue, but the varnish is not as noticeable. It's invisible actually, where the hard coat is actually going to leave a little bit of a sheen on my paper, and it's going to show it to be finished or top coated. So I chose this today. One of the things that I like to talk about here on the page is different supplies, what their limitations are, what their features, their benefits, their limitations are, so that as you're creating, you can feel really confident picking something off your shelf or out of your bin or whatever to use on a project, knowing that this is going to work based on knowing the product, right? So I try to share my experiences and my findings with testing out different things so that you guys can benefit from my tests and feel real confident when you make your choice. All right, the first thing I want to do, you can see, is just saturate the fabric with glue. I want the fabric to get kind of I've got to prep this surface to grab onto the paper. So I'm going to put my first coat is just to wet it. And you can see I'm being super generous here with the amount that I'm putting on. It is noticeable sitting on top of there. It will eventually seep in and bind the paper to the fabric. This is going to be the cover for my gorgeous book. I'm so excited. All right, another coat, because this is where I started. So it's already starting to steep in and dry out a little bit. Another coat on top. I'm going to put this to the right because I'm a righty. Good morning, Gia. Michelle says she loves things imperfect. Michelle, you're my kind of girl. You're my kind of girl. We do wonky. We do imperfect here. We have a lot of grace for when things don't go well. I'm actually, I think I can admit I'm pretty good at when things don't go well, recovering from that and showcasing how and demonstrating how to recover from oopsies. When, okay, that did not go as planned. Oopsie. And then how to recover from it. See, I just stuck the top on there, and my only goal is to stick it into that liquid and make sure it stays down. And then we'll put another coat on the top after she's dried a little bit to seal in the top of it. Okay, so right now my only focus is the bottom. Now, remember we talked about, I mentioned that depending on the supplies that you use, you choose different tools and supplies to work with it. This is just regular printer paper, you guys. This is not a napkin. This is not rice paper. This is Reba Rose's digital download that you can purchase on her site today. Use the discount code. You can grab this same exact set and print it out from home, or bring it to your local library or Office Max and have them print some out, color copies of it, whatever size you want, so that you can create with it. It's just regular printer paper. So the nice thing about printer paper, when you're like basically gluing this down or decoupaging it down onto fabric, it's very thick and it can handle this pressure of me pressing on it. You do that right away. It's still pretty, the paper itself hasn't quite soaked up all that glue yet, so it's still pretty strong. You know, when you're using a napkin, it is so thin and absorbent, it sucks up that glue, and then you can't really move it or touch it, and you can do it. I mean, there are ways to do it. We work with napkins twice a month in my membership club. We do different, we do art journaling with napkins, and then we do a home decor project every month in my membership group. And we talk about the differences between rice paper, napkins, tissue paper, and regular paper of variety of kinds, and how you want to choose the correct glue and use the correct techniques so that you have really good success. It can be really frustrating if you want to glue something down and you've never worked with a tissue paper or a napkin before. I understand it can get real frustrating because it'll rip really easily. So hang around with me. I'll give you the tips that I've learned over the years and share them with you so that you can have the best success possible when you create. There's nothing I want more than for you to really enjoy your creative time and get good success from it. I don't want you frustrated. That's not the point of this. Who crafts for like craft therapy? That's the name of my membership group, the Craft Therapy Club. Who does it for therapy? Who does it for their me time, their alone time, just because you love it? I certainly do. And so we want it to be joyful and fun and not frustrating or irritating. I'm not thrilled that the paper has gone over the edge here. So I'm just going to, while I still can, before it really sets down there, I'm going to tear a little extra off the bottom. Okay. And then I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes, and we're going to go on to the book cover and we're going to start painting. Okay. Put her aside. Isn't she gorgeous? She's just on a fabric. Like, think about what you could do with that. And I know she's wrinkled. It's the wrinkle. Remember, we love imperfect here. The wrinkle to me makes me happy. You can take something like this. It's the glue under there. You can take something like this and very gently, while it isn't, it's not too saturated yet, very gently you can push out all those wrinkles. See how they just disappear? You can do that. I don't mind the wrinkles, ladies. Listen, I'm certainly not perfect, and I'm getting wrinkled at 51. I started using castor oil last night, girls. I've been watching all those YouTube videos about castor oil and how it helps with skin softness and wrinkles. So listen, I got to embrace my wrinkles at 51. I think my little fairy can do the same. She's just beautiful, and wrinkles or no wrinkles, I'm just going to be so in love with this cover. So you can, I don't have the time with a 45-minute session to do it, but you can slowly, when you're at home creating, take the time and just keep working those wrinkles out. I like them. I embrace them. I probably will even highlight them when I finish the cover. So she's going to get set aside so we can work on this. Now this, I absolutely do want some texture on here. She's going on the front, but on the back, I wanted to do something textured. So I grabbed a big doily, and we're going to use this to add some texture. Catherine, I love this so much. I got to highlight your comment up on the screen. She says, I'm 79 and I love my wrinkles. I don't like them on my decoupage work. I love it. As long as you're good with you and the way you are progressing, don't be too hard on your wrinkles, girls, on your body. It is what it is. It shows that we made it through a good portion of what life threw at us, and we're still kicking, right? So thank God for that. All right, I'm just going to take some of this, and we're going to add it to the back. See what I'm doing here? Just to add a little bit of texture and interest, and we're going to end up painting over this. But let's get it stuck down. I'm just going to go right on this book cover. This is going to be underneath the paint. Just need to glue it down. I have the Mod Podge here, so I'm just going to use it. I want as much of that doily as possible. Go over now to really secure it down. We put glue under, we're putting it over. Same thing here. Then we're going to dry it and we're going to paint over it. We'll talk about paint color in a minute. I'm sorry, with 45 minutes, we are rather, pressed for time is the word I would use for trying to complete a project. I may not even complete this, but I'm going to do my best. Well, I overshot that by a long way. I think I'm going to go further down. But I do generally point out, like, if there's something that you should take your time with or not rush, but we do it a little fast because we're live, I'll always point that out to you. Like, if you have time, let this dry on its own. I always feel like mixed mediums, especially texture mediums, crackle mediums, you cannot rush those. They need the air time to fully do their job and work, especially crackle mediums. Really, it's much harder to get a crackle medium to work when you're forcing it dry with a tool. So go get a cup of tea, like I say, get a glass of wine if it's a Friday night and you're having your me time, whatever you like. Go get a cup of tea, go pet the dog or let the dog out. You take your time with your projects. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. You'll see us go quickly and force things along, but you don't need to do that at home. You just take your time. Let's see. Do I like using bling? That's a really good question, Teresa. I'm not a huge bling girl. I love the look of it. I really do, but I'm not a very precise creator. I love things distressed. I love things mucked up and wonky, and that doesn't really lend itself to a lot of bling all the time. So I do use a little sparkle. I do like to pull out some glitter every once in a while, some foils. I love pearl waxes and things like that, but I don't use them on the regular, I would say. That's just not my regular style. Okay, that's pretty dry. It's not completely dry, but it's pretty good. I think I'm just going to put this even further away because I got to get out my paints now. Okay. This is canvas. It's just like a off-white canvas, traditional canvas color. Her dress has mainly blues and grays, but there are some green, the green leaves, and in her dress, there's a bit of green on the bottom. So I picked this cool neutral. I just went to my paints and picked a color that I thought would complement this. So we're gonna try this paint. So we're gonna slop it on the outside of this. This is going to get covered. So honestly, I don't even have to paint under here. I'm gonna paint around the edges and then the back of this to get it ready for decorating completely. Catherine says, I don't like an overkill on bling either. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's what I love to embrace about being creative and sharing our creative projects. If you go to my free community, just like in the Sparkle Room, we love when you share your projects, because you're going to inspire somebody else who may like the same style that you do. And it probably is different than the person who just shared their project. Everybody has different tastes. Our creative styles are as unique as our personalities. So I think it's a good thing to embrace. All right, look, I took way more paint than I needed for the front cover. Let's slop some of that on the back. I don't need that much. I'm going right over the book. The book can handle it. I'm going to smooth the paint out now. This is more about smoothing out the finish, because I don't need it in the middle, really. Okay. Now, let's go in here. This is going to get covered too. I've got something to cover up her words, but I want to paint it so it's all matchy-matchy. So it all matches. And you can get as creative as you want with painting your book covers. And, oh, I got a paint booger there. Get off of here. We don't want you. You're not welcome. You can get as creative as you want with painting your book covers. Come on, you little paint booger. I actually, on this one, this is actually tissue paper, a decorative tissue paper that I used on the back. And actually on this, I did use some gold wax, metallic gold. And this isn't like a metal embellishment that I purchased. I used some texture on this one. So the other one that I showed you, that's already, the inside of the book is completely done, but the cover is not. The reason that is because I usually don't do my cover until the book is finished. Usually, because I like for the cover to represent what's inside the book. And so I generally wait until the book is done and then do my cover. But today I thought, to showcase Reba Rose Creations, I thought it'd be really nice to show you how you can use these creations of hers. And this one happens to be a digital download that you can purchase. You can print them out and use them on a book cover. You can use them. You guys shout out in the comments the different ways that you can use digitals. How are you using digitals? You can use them on furniture. You can use them on a basket, to decoupage them onto the front of a basket if you're trying to decorate a basket that you grabbed at the thrift store that you've had laying around and you just want to give it a refresh. You can use it to create journal pages for junk journals. You can use them on greeting cards if you're a card maker, if you're a scrapbooker. What are all the ways, ladies, that you are using digital downloads, since that's, just kind of showcasing the one that I chose from Reba Rose Creations. Let's talk about it. I'd love to know. You guys probably have way more ideas than I have. Okay, this paper's got to come off, obviously, this extra paper. So we'll do that here in a second, but let's just stick that aside. I'm going to dry it and then we'll get that extra paper off. What is the name of the color green that I'm using? This is Cool Neutral acrylic paint from Americana, and the color is just neutral. What? Neutral? Let's see. That's all it says, girls. Neutro Frio. That's it right there. Take a snapshot if you need to. That might help you. Cool Neutral. It's pretty, isn't it? It's really soft. Okay, couple of things to point out. Boxes, well, Maureen's using her digitals on boxes, trays, books, and sometimes just framing them. That's a great idea, because you can just put them in a frame if they're just that beautiful. Like, she is that beautiful. If you're doing like a little, if you have, a room for the grandkids in your house and you want to do something special to add to the little bedroom that they stay in, maybe you add a couple of these fairies on the wall, print them out 8 by 11 and then frame them. Oh my gosh, how special. The girls probably would love that. Catherine uses them on trays, bottles, boxes, books. Hey, Callie, how are you? Gia on wood, and then she uses it as decor. My Niagara Falls, Canada. She's using it on canvases. Yes. On bottles. Keep the ideas coming. It's a really pretty color, isn't it, Carol? Wendy says, I'm just making my first junk journal and I'm enjoying watching all the methods. Good for you. Good for you, Wendy. I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. Enjoy it. I hope the process is just really fun, not frustrating, just fun and enjoyable for you. All right, let's get a vision of what we're doing here. See, I think that works really well with the green leaves. It's just pulling those green leaves in. That's going to look gorgeous on there. Okay, this I think is dry enough. I wanted to point out, if it matters to you, if it matters to you girls, it doesn't matter to me a whole lot, but if it matters to you, this here, see, this is still a little, it's gray. This inside part of the book cover is still gray. It doesn't even faze me. I don't get worked up over that, but you absolutely could take your paint and get it inside on the top and on the inside cover. That, not the least bit bothered by that. So just do you, I always say, you do you, girl. You do what makes you happy. You do what, you know, you can sleep with at night. That would drive my sister Kathy crazy. She would say, no, we've got to paint that. And I say, heck no, because it's no fun for me. I don't want to do all that detail work. Why? Who cares? It's my book. It's going to sit on my shelf. Like, seriously, it's not like I'm putting it in a museum somewhere. So I don't care that that's still a little gray and doesn't match the front cover. I mean, it's not horrible, right? It's okay. It's going to work. It's going to be fine. Okay, we got a little bit of texture, but I don't love the way, I mean, that almost needs another coat of paint there. And I did grab a stencil for the outside of this. I'm going to put a little dab more of paint. I want the texture. I want to be able to see the doily, but I don't want the white showing through. So let's just see. It's a little scratchy looking there. We're gonna cover that up a little bit more. And then I did grab a stencil. I was thinking I would also do some stenciling on this back. So you stay there. I hadn't, oh my gosh, why didn't I do that? I hadn't decided. Oh, yes, I did. I grabbed this and was thinking I would do a little stenciling with this gray. It might be a little too harsh now that I'm seeing it all together. I wonder if this would show up. This one's called pumice stone. It's an oxide though. It's not, okay. Another thing, when you're layering, when you're mixed media working and you're art journaling or you're, you know, doing anything that includes lots of layers, you have to think about the fact that if I want to come on top of this with another layer, this archival ink means it's permanent and it's waterproof. It says it right on the container. So if I add more layers of wetness on top of using this, it's not going to smear at all. This will smear. This will smear. I don't want smearing, so I'm not going to use that. In my inks, I have both. I have things that are water reactive and things that are waterproof. So let's see. I'm just looking through. Sorry for all the noise. Oh, this might be a good color. It's really teeny. I'm just looking for something soft that's going to show. That's called weathered wood. That matches really well. Okay. I had a feeling that I would run out of time with this project, but I'm just really honored and excited to open up this event for the ladies today. It's a big event. Look at, this is obvious. I've used this stencil so much and I don't clean it. I don't clean it, girls. Remember, it's about having fun, not being perfect. I was thinking it might be really pretty to have that shape, that design in the middle here. So I'm going to try this with my ink pad. You could use another paint. It's just, I was thinking an ink pad would be easy. And it doesn't really take dry time. Let's just see if this ink pad's going to let go of any ink. I haven't used it in a while, so it's probably a little dry. Come on. And I don't know how well it's going to show. So let's just, oh yeah, look at that. That'll show. You can see that real well. So actually, you can dab it on. You can, rub it on. You can do it all together, like the whole thing. Or sometimes I do it, not everything. I skip parts of it purposely so it looks real scratchy. because I don't like things to be perfect. I want it to be really imperfect is my preference, actually. But we're adding just another design on here. I had to re-wet my little ink pad because it's actually a little dry on me. So I just added a little distilled water, a spritz of distilled water on it. So I don't always do all parts of a stencil for a project like this. I may skip parts of it so it looks distressed and aged just on its own. And I keep holding it down, but I'm pulling it up each time to kind of see how far did I get? What does it look like? Where do I want more ink? Where do I want more design? Oh my gosh, so pretty. So pretty. Okay, I may actually pull some of this into the front as well. But I want to show you, I have something to cover the binding. I got 5 more minutes. So if you want to see how this project finishes up, stay tuned here. Make sure you follow the page, hit the follow button, and maybe change your notifications so that you're getting notifications from me. I will share how it worked out in the end, because I'll obviously have more work to do on it. But if you have a free day, if you're free and you're hanging out and you're just creating on your own, you may want to hang out with the girls today for the rest of the event, the Spring Fling event in the Sparkle Room with Kathy and Chris. Today, like I said, we're highlighting Reba Rose Creations. So you'll want to go into the Sparkle Room, and then if you stay in there and just keep refreshing your screen all day, you'll get to see all of the creatives. Like, see how it's like a little soft in some areas? It's soft over here. And we can still see that doily through there, the texture of the doily. Okay, here I had created a little, I want to cover up the words that are on the binding. So I created this, and I'm going to stick it down here, and then I'm going to put paint over it. So let's glue this down, and then I'm going to paint over parts of it to get it to match the rest. And actually, I had the little stamp so I could say Art Journal by Grace, but I didn't have the numbers. So I thought I'd write it on there, and I hate it. So we're going to get rid of that. And we're going to go like this. And that's going to be my binding. So we can get that on there quick and easy. And then what I'm going to end up doing with our fairy is she's going to go on the front. Again, this is an archival ink that's on this paper that I stamped with. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow me to go on top of it. We're going to push it down into the glue, and then I'll be able to come back on top of it. And it's not going to smear on me at all, my words and letters. So that's how I'm going to handle the binding. We're going to put a little bit of paint on it, and then we're going to top coat it because I want it to match the cover. So I'm just going to, I didn't add any paint to my brush. It's just what's left over from doing the cover. And if you wanted, like, I like it kind of obscure like that, or really soft, but you could come back over it. You know, you could first put the piece of paper down, do the paint, and then stamp on top of that. But I kind of wanted it muted. I didn't want it super, super bold. So it's going to look like that. I'll add top coat to that when that's completely dry. Okay. And then my plan is to have her here. She's going to get glued down here. Isn't this coming out gorgeous? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about it. Oh, thanks, Maureen. Thanks so much. Okay, so this is going to come down over it, and then my plan is to use, here's my blingy bling. I've got some beautiful pearl trim that I recently purchased, and I'm going to end up putting this, I think, at the bottom of her. I probably will come in again and paint this so it's not bright, bright white. So listen, when you have your supplies, don't be afraid to muck things up a little bit, and the goal is to make everything really coordinated, right? So you can paint over paper, you can paint over fabric, you can paint over your trim, right? So I'll paint over the trim to get it to be a little bit more obscured. And then for your pearls, because we just put paint on top of our pearls, just get your Clorox wipe, disinfectant wipe, your, even just a cloth with a little bit of water on it, and wipe those pearls off so that you get your pearl back, the sheen of the pearl back. That's going to end up there. So we're going to bling this up a little bit, as the girls in the sparkle room would say, because they love their bling. Oh, it didn't cut all the way. Okay, I want to drop in the comments, if you don't mind, I'm going to drop in the comments the link to the group. So the link to the group is where you want to go to watch all of the creatives today. Let me see if I can get this real easy for you guys. So you're going to catch every 45 minutes, you're going to catch a new creative showcasing the work by Reba Rose Creations. If you go to her site, rebarosecreations.com, that's where you're going to find her, and you can get the discount code in the description of this video right now. So you can grab her discount code. But here is the group where you're going to go to find the next creative. I want to thank you for being here with me today, hanging out with me while I create this new art journal with Reba Rose Creation Designs as the focal point on the cover. There's that link for you guys. You guys have a beautiful, blessed day. I hope it's great. I hope you really enjoyed this event today, the Spring Fling event. Oh, thanks for being here, Phyllis. I do appreciate you guys. Take care.